Now, another clear sign to Google that you are really, using heavy SEO tactics is if you have a links or suggested resources page. These were very popular for a long time. Basically, you would set up a page on your website, and the whole purpose of that page was to exchange links with other websites. You would say, hey man, I'll put a link to you on my links page, and then you put a link to me on one of your sites. So when you have one of these pages, and oftentimes these links pages would be linking out to tons of totally unrelated websites. Like all you wanted was the link. So, if you had a site on how to train your dog, and some car dealership website would give you a link, you'd take it because it was still a link, right? Well, now Google is really looking at relevancy a lot more closely. So get rid of the links page, get rid of any of this stuff, and really think in terms of relevance when you accept links and when you give links. Okay, the best link coming to you now is coming from a reputable site that is in your niche, that is related to you. Now, link velocity. This is big also. Link velocity means the rate, the speed at which you build links to your site. Link velocity should look natural because with a real website that is not using SEO techniques, they're going to basically grow their link profile and build links at the same kind of steady, consistent rate. So when you go on Fiverr.com and you pay $5 and you pay somebody to give you 5,000 backlinks in an hour, or when you run Scrapebox or SENuke or use these other tools to get thousands of backlinks, that creates a spike in your backlink profile. Maybe your site was only getting 3 or 4 links per week naturally, but then boom, all of a sudden you get thousands of links in a very short amount of time. Now that is an example of bad link velocity, and Google will see that. It looks totally unnatural. They know you're up to something, and they will penalize you. Now there are exceptions. I mean, if you have a site that is a news site and you have a breaking story, and you get tons of traffic, because of this incredible news you're releasing, and you get tons of links, well, that's okay. That's a natural example of high link velocity. Or if you have a viral video, your video you make goes viral. It's all over the internet. It's getting millions of views. You're getting millions of links. But Google can tell. Google can tell the difference between, a sort of a link velocity that is unnatural, that is being manipulated, that's the result of SEO, and a piece of content that has massive link velocity for a reason. Google can tell the difference, and so they are a lot more clever than you might think. Link velocity should be consistent and natural, all right? Now, one way to check this is to use either the one I recommended earlier, Ahrefs, or to use Majestic SEO. They will actually show you a graph of your site link profile and how it has grown over time. And it can be steadily increasing. That's natural for a site as it grows and improves and gains popularity. But what you don't want are those giant jagged spikes, which are a sign that you are using black hat tools really to massively increase your links in too short a period of time. Now also, ads above the fold. This one can get you hit too. When you land on your website, what you see before you scroll down is considered above the fold, all right? It's what you see immediately upon landing. Now, the majority of the content on your page above the fold should be information, all right? It should not be ads. I know it's tempting, but you really can't be jamming all kinds of banner ads in that above the fold space. You should have, I would say, at least 50% of that space should be pure good content. I've removed a lot of banner ads from my sites for this reason. Banners oftentimes get very low click-through rates anyway, so don't screw your website and piss off Google just for the sake of running an extra banner that may not even make you any money, So watch your banners. Also, if you have affiliate links in your banners, like I use ClickBank a lot, and I have banners for ClickBank products, you want to disguise those links. What you do is you can install a really simple free plugin called Simple 301 Redirects. There's a bunch of these plugins for redirects, and basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to disguise or to cloak your affiliate link. So instead of having that long, ugly link with ClickBank in it, which is such an obvious sign that you're trying to sell stuff and promote products, instead that link will lead to a page on your site, and then that site will route the user to the offer, to the ClickBank product. So make sure to disguise your affiliate links, and also be wary that Google may not be able to tell whether it's a picture or a banner. So in my case, what I was doing with some of my sites, I would have a banner up top in the header, I'd have a banner in the right sidebar, and then I would lead off my article with a big photo. That's a mistake because Google may see that photo as a banner or as a form of some kind of advertising. So now I always start off my articles with text, preferably with some bullet points in there too that will compel the reader to keep going. And so above the fold, I keep it really heavy on content. And I try to limit the graphics, whether it's banners, whether it's images in the article. I try to keep a lot of text up there, all right? Now, another problem may be that you have a lot of broken links or crawl errors. Now, below this video, I'm showing you right now some URLs of some really awesome free services that you can use to go through your site and to get it quickly analyzed. And you can see the kinds of errors that you are not detecting in terms of broken links, in terms of links that don't work on your site, in terms of pages that no longer exist or have problems, and you can also see all of the errors and problems that Google is encountering when it crawls your site. So in my case, I had one of my money sites. I was doing a lot of SEO on it, and it wasn't making really any progress. In fact, it kept slipping down in the rankings, and I couldn't figure out why. And what I came to realize when I used the tool, which is being shown below the video, when I used that validator tool, I discovered, to my shock, that I had hundreds of crawl errors. There were hundreds of bad links and problems and pages that weren't going to the right, links that weren't pointing to the right place and so forth. There were tons of errors. So I had to actually ask my webmaster to go through one by one and correct all those errors. He did. It took about 2 days, but he got all the errors fixed. And my site was much more crawlable to Google. It indexed a whole bunch of pages that it hadn't indexed before. And in a pretty short amount of time, I saw my search engine rankings rise. Now, as far as reconsideration requests, elsewhere in the Google Resurrection course, we talked about how to submit a reconsideration request if your site was hit by Google Panda. And what this basically means is by using your Webmaster Tools account, you can submit an actual, request to Google to say, please review my site. I have fixed up the problems. I'm no longer using any questionable SEO tactics. Please give me another look, and maybe you can restore my rankings, basically. And we explained in great detail the right way and the wrong way to do this, because you got to be really delicate with these requests. But with Penguin, if you were hit by Penguin, don't even bother to submit one of these requests. It will not go anywhere. It will not help you. Panda, a lot of cases, penalized sites due to a manual review. Like an actual Google employee or somebody affiliated with Google looked at the sites and imposed penalties. But Penguin is totally automated. It's just an algorithm. And frankly, it seems to be a pretty flawed algorithm because if you go on the Google Webmaster forums, you'll see just hundreds of complaints and sob stories and people who are just really pissed off because they had legitimate high-quality websites they'd been building up for years that were very authoritative in their niche. And then Penguin came along and just destroyed all the rankings and wiped out all their traffic. And these people were like, why? Like, why are there low-quality, spammy sites now ranking ahead of me? And I'm buried on page 8, So Penguin has some definite kinks it needs to work out, all right? But what I'm saying is that reconsideration requests will not do you any good, so don't bother. Now, also, Matt Cutts, the head of Google's web spam team, he even put out this form that you could fill out if you wanted to complain about Penguin or submit your thoughts on Penguin. Don't go near this thing. Don't have any communication with Google about this. All you're doing is bringing more attention to yourself. Don't try to confess your sins, Again, when we updated this course to discuss Penguin, I also included in the Google Resurrection book a section about this warning that Google sent out. Google sent out a warning to over 700,000 websites, and this email appeared in your Google Webmaster Tools account. And what it said basically was that Google has detected unnatural links pointing to your site. It was this really mysterious, murky warning that kind of implied, we're watching you. We know you're using SEO. And it didn't tell you, where the bad links were. It didn't tell you where your unnatural links were, so you couldn't do anything about it, really. It was just meant to scare you. And I think, really, it was just a scare tactic. Google kind of putting us on notice and saying, look, you SEO guys think you're clever. We're more clever. We know what you're up to, and knock it off. Because, again, Google wants to pretty much stop all this SEO stuff as much as possible. So If you receive one of those unnatural link warnings, ignore it. Just focus on building good links from now on to dilute your unnatural ones. Don't even worry about trying to go out and take down links because you have no idea what links they're referring to. If your site has been around for a while, you've probably got thousands of links you don't even know where. So just forget that whole warning. It's really kind of useless. And don't bother to submit a reconsideration request. If you were hurt by Penguin, if your traffic and rankings got hurt, then you've got to follow the action steps that I'm explaining to you. You want to dilute your bad links and your problems by creating good content, good new content, and then good new links, high quality links that ideally are on relevant websites. All right, do that and you will counteract the problems that Penguin detected. But don't worry about trying to take down bad links or do any of that stuff. It's a waste of your time. Now, let's talk about stickiness. Now, one of the main metrics that Google now uses to evaluate your website and figure out whether you're high quality or not is how long your users are staying on your website and your bounce rate. And the bounce rate is a metric that Google uses that basically means the percentage of people that land on your site and quickly bounce back to the search results to keep looking versus the people who land on your website and stay and end up clicking one of the links on your site, like one of your other articles, to keep reading. So the lower your bounce rate, that means the more quality you're offering because your users are staying on your site. They're not bouncing back to the Google search box to keep looking. So you want to do whatever you can to increase your stickiness. You want to give your users as many reasons as possible to hang around. Now, adding social media is a great idea. You want to have those widgets on your site if you're using WordPress that encourage people to to share it on Facebook or to tweet it or to bookmark it. All this stuff takes time for people to do. It keeps them on your site, keeps them engaged. And also, you're getting those backlinks from those social media sites. Those are very powerful signals to Google that people are essentially voting for you. They like your content. They're sharing it. This is very important stuff nowadays. So integrate social media as much as possible, and however you can, encourage your users to give you a like or to tweet about you. Also, believe it or not, even the smallest factors can increase your stickiness. I kept looking at my bounce rate for one of my sites. It had gotten really high, and my rankings had been suffering lately. I actually bumped up the size of my font from 9-point to 12-point. And 12-point is generally kind of bigger than I'd want. Aesthetically, I don't really like 12-point font on my site because it looks kind of too big. But it makes my site much more readable. I have these really long, informative articles. And it actually helped to increase my stickiness. The average amount of time my users spent on my site actually went up quite a bit because I changed the font to make it bigger and more readable. The same goes for paragraphs. You don't want to have big, long chunks of uninterrupted text. You want to break it up into small paragraphs, maybe like 2, 3, or 4 sentences per paragraph and no more. This makes your website have a better flow to it, and it just makes it more enjoyable to read, and it's easier for people to process the information. And again, all this stuff over time will improve your stickiness.